Well, academic qualifications, professional qualifications, leadership and integrity. It's really unfortunate if you go to the Chebukati debate that, and I was on social media on this, I posted in December 2016, that were we serious about academic, professional and leadership and integrity when we recruited the IEBC at the time. The records are there, were there in the newspapers, and it was clear what the qualifications were and what the marks were. It was so clear. And there were serious issues about academic qualifications. It was clear about professional qualifications, which are very important, because this is somebody who should be like at least Supreme Court judge, but not just having minimum bare qualifications. Even if you have 15 years in the academy or 15 years in the bar, by that I mean the bar that relates to the judiciary, not. Even if what have you been doing with yourself? It's not just counting the years. What is your record in the bar or in the academy? And lastly, what is your record on leadership and integrity? And it was clear, the debate was very clear that there were issues that had been raised about Mr. Chebukati. And then the Supreme Court confirmed some of this in 2017 that there were serious issues. So Kenyans have to decide how do we check these issues of the chairperson of IEBC, the academic, professional and leadership and integrity of Chapter 6 issues. We must also check these issues of the commissioners generally, and I think that the majority have a conscience and stuff like that. Then you must have also people with a conscience, and not people who are just always acting alone and don't want to listen to anybody and are sadists. And lastly, of course, the issues that the staff generally, I think we need to review the staff profile, both permanent staff and also what they normally call temporary staff, like presiding officers, the returning officers, the county officials there, the constituency of officials, because some of these have been appointed or without the key parameters that relate to academic, professional and public participation. Many of them are appointed in a way that did not comply with academic, professional and leadership and integrity issues or public participation issues. And that's really important. In fact, you remember that in 2017, we actually brought a case which Justice Odunga approved that on decided in favor that there was a problem in the appointment of returning officers. And this is a very, very major issue.
Okay. Actually, on this question of appointments, part of our problem as a country is that we tend to be ruled by the very worst among us. And because of the manipulation of these appointment processes, the people that are truly qualified tend to shy away from even bothering to apply for these jobs because they know that the process is already fixed, it's predetermined. And a lot of professionals would say, why should I then waste my time?
Okay, but speaking of these appointments, right, do you not find that perhaps the political class set up this IEBC to fail? Because essentially, these new appointees, the Cherera 4, only came into office, I think, in September of 2021.
It was, I think, actually September the 2nd.
September of last year, yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So, I mean, why wait so long to replace those who had resigned? They complained of being starved of funds. And so these funds came towards the end, therefore perhaps they were going for ready-made solutions. So does the political class not bear some responsibility? I know you've alluded to that, okay, about these people should not be having politicians calling them and giving them instructions. Do you think they were set up to fail?
Of course, but precisely because they want to manipulate them. And a true professional would look at it and say, but I am being set up to fail here. How many months to elections do we have? Very few. Is there sufficient time for me to be able to acquaint myself and apply myself properly to this job? There isn't. Then you weigh those factors and you say, this is not the job for me. I am going to sully my professional reputation. I'm not going to do it.
All right.
But you see there...
and speaking of Chebukati and sanctions, I think the one raised by Professor Sihanya, and so 2017 happened, and then all of a sudden there was silence essentially, there was no move in Parliament, at least, or even in the boardroom to change up these commissioners.
But you have to look at it from the perspective of these politicians. For them, it is all about how do we control this process so that it works for us. If it means not having the appointments done immediately, so be it. We will wait until the last minute. In fact, this is not the first time that we've had late appointments in the commission. It's the perennial way of doing things.
And by the way, yeah, the sanctions actually was the language of the Supreme Court. That, you know, we will not hesitate. And in fact, there should be sanctions when officials of IEBC, even at the level of chairperson, really conduct elections in such a fraudulent manner, flawed manner. And that kind of language has also been there in Malawi, the Professor Peter Mutharika case, which followed Raila. And this is really, really unfortunate. That there was a BBI debate on this question of and I think if you saw an earlier draft of the BBI, by BBI here, BBI was four-pronged. There was constitutional amendment proposals, there were legislative proposals, there were regulatory proposals, and the reform proposals, and there were policy reform proposals. And most of the debate and what went to all the way to the Supreme Court, High Court, Court of Appeal, Supreme Court, focused on the proposed constitutional amendments. So that's where we are. And if you saw the earlier drafts before the last draft that went to court, the last draft, you would see that there was some language that talked about the reconstitution of IEBC. And that was mainly at commission level, because many of our people in this country say that fish gets rotten from the head. This is the Achebe doctrine, that is about the leadership. I know that also from below it's important to restructure also from below. But in many situations, if you have the head very clearly appointed and with the proper qualifications and is responsive to the commission, you can have a good... So what was the BBI debate was to help implement what happens in Ghana and other countries. And Ghana has had a reasonably good run. Ghana and Botswana in certain cases have had very good run in terms of presidential elections. In one case, actually, the presidential election in Ghana went to the wire. I think it had to be decided by about 30, or a constituency of about 30,000. That is where a decision had to be made on who is going to be the president. Millions of votes, but one constituency. And as the incumbent actually belonged to one of the other parties. And their electoral, okay, they are called electoral management bodies, EMB. The Ghanaian, no, I can't call it Ghanaian, IEBC. IEBC has, nobody wants to associate with IEBC. But the electoral management body in Ghana, EMB, made the correct decisions. And this was partly because in many of these countries, they even have a political parties liaison committee. They consult. Here, Chebukati dictates to parties. Only when you catch him on why are you printing book 2 of book 1 and book 2 of 34B, he comes and gives you some reasons which you can't even understand. But there they even have political parties making nominations to the body. And this is largely a political process. So we need to review, rethink, especially at commission level. And of course, Ms. Barrows, you talked about timely. Yeah, in a timely manner. I think that, I know that Kriegler said, the Kriegler report said, this is the report of the independent review of the Electoral Commission. Committee. They said that we should have at least 2 clear years. All our election law reforms, not election law regulatory reforms and appointments ought to be done 2 years, so that, you know, even the commissioner can settle down, start understanding these things. Because, you know, like... But
we rarely do that.
Like the good commissioners, the majority came only less than a year to the election. Yes. And so a lot of things are being done. The evidence is there. If things are being done,
how the audience
procurement of basmati is being done like that.
Yeah, as you